Welcome from way down under, YouTube's hottest late night host, Lou! Late night with Lou!
Well, when last we saw our beloved and beleaguered angelic heroes, they were revolting against the revolting idea that God should become human. And they thought that they could bring God to heel by showing God their strength in numbers. They miscalculated in that. The revolt, of course, was hopeless. We always knew it would be if God decided to make it that way. We didn't really think that would happen. How do you rebel and win? I mean, you can rebel, sure, but how do you win against being itself? That which necessarily is, that which is because it is, and from which you have derived your being. And you come from it, and you exist because of it. You rebel against it, and you think you're going to win? Well, as I say, we didn't expect to have to really fight. But we did. And the revolt was hopelessly, ruthlessly crushed. And to add insult to injury, he enlisted corporals to oust generals and admirals, lowly archangels, Michael in the lead, driving out seraphim and cherubim from the heavenly court. I saw Satan fall like lightning from the sky, quoth Jesus. That's Luke chapter 10. That's a pretty biased way of putting it. For once we knew we had lost, once we knew there was no chance of negotiating something with him, we didn't wait around waiting to be shown the door. We left. We exited. We charged out all the exits. We didn't hang around. We took off on our... One moment. Demonia. Demonia. Yes. Okay, you're in Monte Carlo. Trixie and Wen Lo at lunch. They've had some preliminary shop talk. Is Rupert going to sell that sort of thing? Can the Lows get in on it? Yeah, well, and that makes sense because Wen, that is the older son, he's responsible for laundering Dad's ill-gotten gains. So much of Lowe's fortune is intellectual property theft. And, Wen goes in there and takes these billions and invests them in real estate, and it looks like now he wants to do it in a tech company, and, he kind of cleans it up and makes Dad a respectable billionaire. Right. Yes, of course. And he figures, Trixie, she'd be in the know on whether Rupert is really serious about selling. Really? So that went on for about 20 minutes, and then they dropped all the pretenses and they started talking personally. And Trixie was coyly but clearly flirting. She's an expert at, how do you put it? Giving a man hope without giving him anything else. And the conversation looked like that sort that often presages romantic involvement. Well, do you think Trixie is seriously considering throwing Rupert over? Yeah, of course. Wen is heir to a vast fortune. She may be mulling her options, given the evident indestructibility of Rupert and Luz's marriage, the two of them gazing with each other with a sick puppy love there at the monastery in the south of France. She may be, seeing that marriage clearly is for good because of the mama wound that Rupert has. He can never leave Luz. He can't leave. He can't lose Luz. He can't lose the second most important woman he's ever had in his life. Right. So maybe she's thinking. Maybe she's thinking about her own future and her own social security, so to say. And yes, exactly. Clearly, Christopher is out. The mistress can hardly consider taking her lover's son as her husband. Right, right. Wen Lo. Worth billions. Even, if he splits half of it with his younger brother, that scamp. Yes. Oh, that's right. There's a daughter as well. Okay, well, if he inherited a third of what his father has at the moment. Of course, his father's only in his 50s, and but he's got more billions to make. It's all that much more in the end. I mean, this is going to be a win-win for Trixie if she decides to go for it, I think. And what Trixie would do with all that money, it would be simply admirable. She'd waste it. Waste it. Yes and no. Mrs. Lowe actually has some charitable impulses. No, Mrs. Lowe has actually, she's made a few donations that were, well, all I can say is that one questions, did she have too much to drink that day? It's strange, but she's not as committed to spending all of her money on herself as I believe that Trixie would be. Yep. We don't need Wen or his younger brother marrying someone like Luz, someone who knows what money is for. Trixie as an heiress to the Lowe fortune? Yeah. She'd blow billions. All right, well, this is interesting. Let's just see where it goes. All right, yes, keep monitoring the situation, and we'll be in touch. All right. Oh, Shanghai was a bore. It's the usual, Well, as a matter of fact, it was right up Mr. Lowe's alley. It was all about intellectual property theft. They're looking at a certain firm in Silicon Valley that they think has got a new product they'd like to have as well. I'll help them get it. All right. Good enough, my dear. We will be in touch. Bye-bye. Smooches to you, too. Well, I don't know. Trixie may be... she may be deciding this time to end her apprenticeship and become, a... what do they used to call it? You were an apprentice, and then you were a master, right, at the craft. I guess she's decided it's becoming time for her to take control of the money she'd like to have, rather than just being a beneficiary of it, to actually have it. That sounds like the way Trixie's mind works. Makes me wonder about Wen, about Mr. Lowe. From everything that Demonia says, it seems like he's just developed a huge crush, kind of an innocent puppy dog-like love, like Christopher's, for this calculating and irresistible woman. Well, more on Trixie and her Chinese escort at the 4-star place in Monte Carlo when we return. Thanks for joining us, and be bad.